I'm a few minutes early, so I'm a few minutes early. It's like 5 till. So if you're watching this on the replay and you need to get right to it, you can skip ahead 5 minutes. We're just going to have a little conversation that's not specific today, as long as anybody starts hopping in. I see somebody's here, but I can't tell who at this point. Oh, man. It's been a busy 5 days. Little tired, but that's all right. Dun, 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 dun. You're gonna sit here and listen to me make drum noises. Oops, I do not. Something just popped up on my screen that is in the way, and I do not know how to close it. Oh, I'm gonna have to quit touching my screen. It's making it shake like crazy. This is me plotting now. Plotting. Or as my uncle would call it, scheming. He'd sit there and put his hands on his big fat belly and he'd just twiddle his thumbs, and I'd ask him, "What are you doing?" He'd be like, "Scheming." Think I might have made a mistake closing this out on a Friday. Everybody's starting their weekend. That is quite all right. Hey, Bettina. I always get the same face when I'm typing, when I'm concentrating. I like get this real stern look because I'm trying to figure it out. Probably why my wife thinks I'm mad all the time, but I'm not. Hey, you made it to a safe space.
Yeah. Well, I left plenty of time, so traffic or nothing would mess me up. I don't have my cool like green screen back, and my I say I got more lights than Kim Kardashian. I don't know how she has it. Just sounds cool. So I'm in a kitchen. We got a hotel room with a kitchen, and I got natural light from a window, and then trying to not have the refrigerator in the background. Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Right. I don't do a lot of like live video. And so a lot of times like I instead of shooting in my office because the light's not as good, I'll shoot in my living room. Like especially if I know like I'm just shooting some video and my wife's not going to be around or whatever. But to not disturb her because I'm going live at the same time every day and she's sometimes here and sometimes not, I thought I'd set it up in here. But the lighting, if I'm actually sitting at my desk, it's like this side of my face is totally bright and there's nothing on this side. So I just turn to face the window. And
so my wife said, yeah, you ought to get the view out the window because it's South Carolina's beautiful. I said, I look like I'm in the witness protection program. I'm amazed at how many people will put the light behind them and then their face is completely like, I don't know one of those phones that alters their voice too.
We want them to see your beautiful face, Steven.
Well, so what's neat, if you notice how messed up green screens are, it's because they don't have enough lighting and it can't pick up. So you can see the difference, you know, when you get kind of like that halo with a green screen. If I cut my lights on, it looks professional. It's just some junk I bought off of like eBay or Amazon or something. So
right.
Zoom does pretty good with that.
Right. All right. Well, we are officially at 3:00. So I'm going to just get us started and then I'm going to turn the tables over to you a little bit, Steven, and have a little convo and then let you go so you can get back to your anniversary weekend. Anyways, I'm going to take a real quick 5-second pause and then we're going to get started. All right, welcome. Day 5 of our 5 days to 5K challenge. We have made it. Last day, we're here to do follow-up, the last piece of the puzzle to make sure your business is successful. I'm really excited to be joined today by Mr. Steven West. Just like Jody that you met a few days ago, Steven and I met through our affiliate cooperative called Affiliate Triad. And really, Steven is the one that motivated me to do this challenge in the first place. It wasn't my mode before, but as the challenge champion that he is, I hope he likes that title. He really, helped me to realize that this was one way that I could really help a lot of people in a short period of time. And so, that's kind of what started me down this path. It's why you're all here. So I'm excited that he can join us today because he's been doing this even longer than I have. He has different insights and background and businesses that he does. And he really understands this concept of the follow-up and what that takes and what matters about it. So just a brief recap before we get into today's subject. We covered mindset on Monday, our tribe or the who on Tuesday, the what or our offer on Wednesday, and then yesterday on Thursday, the traffic. So we've set the whole scenario for your business to be successful, but we want to end on that piece where no matter how much of that stuff you do right at the beginning, you've probably heard the expression, the fortune is in the follow-up. And the reality is because most people statistically need somewhere between 7 to 10 touches to feel comfortable enough to buy a product. That's why, companies do things like branding. I mean, that's why you see Coca-Cola commercials. The world knows what Coca-Cola is, but they need reminders. If Coca-Cola never advertised again, they would not stay the #1 most known drink in the world. That's just the way it is. So we're going to hand the floor over just briefly to Steven. he's super shy. Doesn't like to talk or anything like that. So we'll let him briefly introduce himself, and then we'll get into how important the follow-up is, and how, you know, that might not seem like the most important part to you as you're starting out, because you're thinking about things like, oh, getting your traffic there and your initial sales, but really how the follow-up can make all the difference. And so, Stephen, I'm gonna let you take it away for just a minute.
Yeah, so I do talk for a living. I'm not bashful. A lot of times I'm immediately right out the gate in your face, and then I'll make a joke. Hey, when I get to know you one day, I'll come out of my shell, and people will say, if you're in a shell now, I sure don't want to see you out of it. But no, I make a living talking, and so I'm gonna spare you the long version of the story and the tear jerking version, but very quickly. I was raised with just a poor dad. If you're familiar with Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I was grown before a mentor of mine in a job, because as having a poor dad who farmed, he noticed I didn't maybe want to work hard on the farm. So he encouraged me to go college, get good grades, get a good job, and save. And that's if you're not familiar with the story, that is the advice of a poor dad. Well, I thought there was something wrong with me because I didn't have a rich friend with a rich dad who advised me into being an entrepreneur at a very young age. I realized my dad had quit a job to farm more, which meant at his heart, he was an entrepreneur, and I probably was meant to be too, definitely, for sure, but not that way. I didn't want to work that hard. This is about as hard as I work now, which is interesting, right? So the problem is I like to start things. If you're familiar with the Kolbe test, I'm 10 out of 10 quick start. I don't even know what the other three are. They're so unimportant to me. Follow-up, interestingly, is one of the 4 tests at Kolbe. Not to say it's not important. If you're weak in that area, you need to surround yourself with people who are strong in that area. That's all Kolbe means. It doesn't mean you can't do those things. It just means you shouldn't do those things. You get some money. So as I started to consume the Rich Dad, Poor Dad thing and realized I could be an entrepreneur, I could be an investor. But if you're familiar with the cash flow quadrant, you don't go to bed a good employee and wake up a good small business owner. And you can't go to bed a halfway decent small business owner and wake up a big B businessman or woman, owner or investor. No more than you can go to bed tonight deciding you want to be a dentist and wake up tomorrow a dentist. Or if you've gone to school that long to be a dentist, you don't wake up tomorrow a brain surgeon. It takes time, and they go to school a long time, and then they do residency and they practice. It's the same with anything. If you want to earn a hobby income, then treat it like a hobby. If you want to make a business income, treat it like a business, which means follow up. As he already said, Seth already told you, fortune's in the follow up. So let me tell you the pain of my story and why I'm so passionate about helping you with any and all of this, but especially the follow up. It's because I like to start things. I would start things. I would hire people, and I expected them to be like me. That's how naive I was when I started as an entrepreneur. Then I realized later, if they were entrepreneurs, they wouldn't work for me, because I couldn't hire people like me. We would fight. So if they were entrepreneurial as me, they wouldn't work for me, right? So I'd say, here's the login, go figure it out. And I'll be over here starting something else. And my whole thing was, I'll just start businesses and put people to run them. And oh my gosh, Bill Gates will be calling me for advice soon. And what I found out is if you turn your back on stuff, it may not get done like it ought to get done. And so like the follow-up. So as I started businesses for freedom and to live my dreams. And I woke up one day living somebody else's dreams, which were my nightmares, and had built a prison and set it on fire. And you can either be a victim and say, oh my gosh, life's horrible. Or you can look in the mirror and realize who built the prison and who set it on fire. And I have the key and I have the ability to put out. You don't have to stay in the prison. And so if your life is like that, then listen to me. So I've built some stuff, and then I burnt some stuff down. And then I came back and built some stuff. And I know, so it's kind of like my favorite book growing up was Berenstain Bears, How Not to Ride a Bicycle. And that's a powerful motivator. I think something like 10 times more powerful motivation with the reduction of pain than the opportunity of pleasure. So negative is a good trainer. It can be. Not negative thinking, but I know all the ways to mess up. So what I had to take control of was the stuff that got me from A to B. A is my solution, and B, the problem that my customer has. And I know y'all have already spent time talking about who. So you have to have a who that has a problem. that knows they have that problem and are willing to pay you good, hard-earned money for the solution to that problem. So it begins with a brand identity. I would have you consider that your business is an arrow, and sales and marketing is that arrow. And if you're not managing the sales and marketing of your business, you don't have a business. No more so than an archer without arrows is an archer. He can have the best bow, he can have the best training, but without arrows, all he can do is go down there and hit the target with his bow, and that's not the game. So just in this quick analogy about an arrow, the nock, the part that goes on the string, is where you start. That's the beginning of the arrow, and that is your brand identity. And it doesn't start with you. If you have a story and people want to hear it, and we'll get back to how many touches it takes, and for that reason, is the knock is, who do you help and what is their problem? And then who are you and how do you solve it? That's who you are. And then the feathers or the fletchings are on a spiral, and that's what helps guide the arrow and keeps it true going through the air to find its mark. And that's your advertising and your marketing. And very quickly, your marketing is to find those people that you can help that are willing to pay you. You attract them, but really good marketing repels the people that don't have the problem, don't know they have the problem, won't admit they have the problem, or won't pay for the solution. Get them out of your way. So good marketing attracts the right people and even repulses and repels the wrong people. So that's the end. The structure of the arrow is you telling your story that is ultimately your customer's story. It's been said that if you can describe a potential client's problem better than they can, that you're speaking into their head and go, that guy's talking to me, or gal is talking to me, then you are telling your story that is how you stumbled upon the solution to this problem, how it will help them. That is that integrity of the arrow. And one of the ways to tell that story you're a part of right now, it's called a challenge. A challenge is a way to, over several days with micro commitments, instead of saying, hey, I want you to sit down for 5 hours and right now and listen to Seth. I want you to listen to Seth for 1 hour every day for 5 days. And then I can tell you a story, my story, and how it relates to you and solving your problem. And ultimately that arrowhead, the point that connects, is your sales message. That is your offer. That is a solution in exchange for money that buys you the things that makes your life awesome, right? Food and shelter and clothing and fun stuff. And when that arrow strikes the bullseye, you have made a sale. And that is the point that you have a call to action or decision made. You can do this alone and continue to suffer, and the cost of missed opportunity. And you know what it looks like to put this off and procrastinate and evaluate and anticipate and all of that garbage. Now is the point of decision. And when you strike the bullseye, that's when the transaction happens. But have you consider that any part of that goes wrong? You have a bent arrow, it doesn't engage the bow right, you're scared and closing your eyes upon release of the arrow, or you're anticipating failure, so you jerk it. I'm not asking you to be an archery expert, but I can have you imagine that if you can't see the target by closing your eyes, or it's dark, you haven't identified who your targets are, then you'll be shooting in the dark. You'll be lucky if you miss. But if you start hitting the wrong people, you're wounding them. As opposed to hitting the mark that solves their problem, you're actually causing more trouble than it's worth. And then you'll convince yourself, I tried that sales and marketing stuff, that didn't work. And what didn't work was you learning the proper way to do it. So you need control of your arrows if you want control of a business and control of revenue and profit, and ultimately control of your life. Because if your business isn't serving you, you don't have a business. If you waking up a slave to a business, then you own a job. You don't own a business. So that's why I'm passionate about it. And within that is the follow-up. So to the point of today, that one time the arrow hitting the mark and all of a sudden being a decision, there's a lot of follow-up down this arrow at the point that there is a decision. And I believe that it does, according to data, take 7 to 9 touches, but people are so inundated with marketing and sales messages now, it's possibly more than that. And there's a lot of what you would call social entrepreneurship. They want to know that they're doing business with someone that they like and they know what they're going to do with the money. So they like to say, hey, I got to buy coffee somewhere. Am I going to buy some coffee where the company is going to donate that to causes that I care about, because I care about more than just who I buy my stuff from. I want to know that they care about the same things I care about. That takes time to tell that story. And people want to know who they're doing business with, and people want to do business with people that they like and trust, and that can take time. So that's why when we talk about a funnel, a business funnel, a sales and marketing funnel is no different than when you are going to date someone of the opposite sex, or go out and date. It's creepy, as I say, to walk up to someone you just met and ask them to pick out baby names and China patterns. That's just creepy. Don't do that. You may want to get to know them, ask them some questions. That's called top of funnel. So a lot of times what happens, we're running ads and going right for the throat. You want to get married, you want to pick out baby names, like, oh, Cal, no, I just met you. Why would I give you my credit card and my money and all that? Is content marketing. The top of the funnel is, hey, I'm going to share some value in advance. I'm going to teach some concepts. And if they like that, then I can find out. It's called behavioral based marketing. Did they consume the content? Did they read my emails? And this can all be automated. Did they read my emails? Did they watch the video? How much of the video did they watch? There's systems that tell me all that. And then I have a way to know the people that did this but didn't do this. I can follow up about, hey, I saw you took A but didn't get B. And the emails are specific and the messages are specific. And then you come down from content and education to, hey, maybe you want to learn some more from me, invite them into something that's maybe free. And then you can get down to the point that they seem like a good fit to make them an offer. And then if you've done your job right, it's not salesy and it's not gross. They are literally, by the time you make them an offer, are begging you to create something that will solve their problem they want to give you money for. And I won't tell you any secrets I know, but I think Seth knows what I'm talking about. You've done your job right when people are begging you to hand them a solution. And here's my credit card. Will you please take my money?
So real quick, Stephen.
Yes, sir.
And I think this is something, especially when people are starting out, because I know this was an issue for me. We're so often given these shiny object sales pages that tell you to do this one thing and it's going to make you money, not realizing that follow-up is even important, because you think sale. Right. So what about follow-up? And this is just an opinion or what you've noticed. Why do people shy away from it so much?
You mean doing it?
Doing it.
They've been sold a pipe dream, and they're going to make money on the first time they run an ad. So here's what let's think big multi-million and billion-dollar companies will fire their advertising department if they fail to lose a budgeted amount of money on the initial advertising campaign. I'm going to say that again. Let's say they budget to lose $250,000, $250,000 budgeted to lose on the first advertising campaign. Reason being is because they have a 2-year back end. And I'll talk about what back end means in a minute. It's a long play for them. They figure if they don't lose a certain amount of money on the front end, they didn't run enough ads to enough people. They got a big net and they want a lot of people to come, because if they don't take the first offer or the third offer or the 12th offer, they literally have offers every month. They've got 24. They don't have one stinking funnel. They got 24, because they're going to run a new funnel in front of them and then they segment their list. And they find out, hey, they didn't like the herbal supplements, but they really like the financial services stuff. Go give them more of that. But the herbal people, maybe they like yoga, and they're constantly segmenting and figuring out how they can get more people in the funnel and extend the lifetime value of that customer. There's only 3 ways to make money in business. Go get a new customer, sell an existing customer more stuff at the initial start, and then sell them more often. Get them repeat business. New customer, an existing customer to buy something else, and then recurring. So it's hard to go get a new customer. And the problem is when you're just getting started, and I think that's what you're talking about, you have one funnel, you put up one ad, it takes 1,000 hits on a website to statistically find out whether you don't have split test budget. You're not figuring out whether the button ought to be orange or read. You don't know, you haven't tested copy, you haven't tested images because you don't have that much money sitting in the bank. You have to bet. Well, you got to know a lot when you get started to hedge your bets and know that you have to have a back end. Now, Russell Brunson changed the game, the founder of ClickFunnels, and realized that if he offered a low ticket thing on the front end, he could offset his ad costs and not have an expense of running ads, but he could actually profit on the initial and then build a relationship. So I think the key is a lead magnet, because that way now it's fairly free to follow up. Nothing's free, but it's a whole lot cheaper to send emails. You got to have email sending systems. You can't just do it from Gmail. So it ain't free, but you don't pay per click like you do on Google or Facebook or some of the other time platforms. So once you pay to get the email, the good email, the one that they'll open and read, now you can follow up with them. But I've heard it said that the distance between $0 spent with you and one is light years more than 1 to 10, 10 to 100, 100 to a million. Because psychologically, once they become your customer, there's a customer, even at $1. I mean, if you remember Columbia House Records, and you may not be old enough for that, you would tape a penny to a thing and send it back in. That's when nobody would steal your penny. A penny, and a penny was enough. And for a penny, you got 14 free 8 tracks or cassette tapes or whatever. And you're like, wow, a penny for 14, something psychologically happened where it was not free. You sent them something, and then maybe later it was $1. And it was ridiculous. You got 14, 12, 20 items, but it was forced continuity. Forced continuity is they were going to send you another album every month. Right. And it was nearly impossible to cancel. You had to go.
And I do remember that part. It was impossible to cancel.
It was impossible to cancel. It's called forced continuity. Nobody likes that. Don't do that. But Columbia House Records, sold most of the music in this country because of that offer. So it's a tripwire offer, meaning a low ticket, no brainer offer. Like these free, just pay shipping. Okay, it's free. I get that I might have to pay $6, $7 shipping if you've ever shipped anything. It seems reasonable. You're thinking it's free, but the fact that you gave them money, psychologically, you already triggered the fact that you bought something. You trusted them enough to put your credit card number in there or PayPal and hit go.
Right. And I think you and I would both agree, because we've had email lists that we have been communicating with a long time. You have the people that if they came in for free have never spent $1 with you ever.
Right.
And then you have the people that as soon as they spend $1 with you, they kept spending money with you. And those were two very separate groups. Right. You had very few people that would jump in and get one thing and then never buy from you again.
You got to love somebody. And this is why I'll always love digital marketer, Ryan Dice and Roland Frazier and all those guys. And I used to go to Traffic and Conversion Summit in San Diego every year, just ate it up. And they would tell you what they were doing to you at the conference. They would talk about the lighting and the music and how they were messing with your brain chemistry. They literally explained, they had slides about the brain and serotonin and dopamine and all this, what they could do to your brain to get you more open to buying. Not manipulation. There was no subliminal advertising. There was no hypnosis that I know of. Yeah. But they would get you in a mood where you wanted to buy. And we like to buy stuff. We don't like to be sold stuff. Remember that. Don't sell anybody anything, but help them make a buying decision. At QVC, HSN, Amazon, people like to buy. Let's not fool ourselves. People like to buy. They don't necessarily like to be sold. Closing just means helping them make a buy decision. And sometimes that's a takeaway. Hey, this don't look like this might be right for you right now. So we'll see you down the road. And that could, but I'll follow up later. So in our real estate investing and any kind of investing, sometimes the time is just not right. And you'll say, hey, we'll follow up with you later. It's always in the follow-up, because if the time is not right now, something could change. But I said that to say this, it takes like 15 minutes for dopamine to lose its effectiveness in your brain. And what that means is that's about the time it takes to get buyer's remorse. So the best time to sell something else is while they still feel good about it. So that's why funnels exist, where there's a low ticket offer, a mid ticket offer, maybe an order bump where it seems like, you ever seen, like they don't charge for it, but it would have been a great order bump for Ginsu knives. Like, I already don't need that many knives. Nobody needs that many knives. But if I buy right now, I get a whole nother set. Like, what redneck? I'm a redneck. So I'm like, we'll make throwing knives out of them. We'll literally learn to kill animals with those knives, because nobody needs that many knives in the kitchen. But if they'd have just said an order right now, and for $1 more, get another set again. So nice. Like, but they had to ship them. They literally got them from, I don't know. You got to work out where is that incremental value. Let me tell you something maybe you didn't know. For what McDonald's spends on overhead and advertising to get somebody in McDonald's, if they only buy a burger, they're break even. They make their money on the upsells. They make all their monies on the burgers and the fries and the apple pies. And would you like the biggie size, that the upsize? Because the amount they charge you more for 3 more fries and that much more fructose, infested water. And you know what I'm saying? It's right. Pennies on the dot. It's unreal. So you get them in the store for a break even offer, and the rest is all the profit.
Right. I mean, I used to, when I first was in high school, I worked for a grocery store chain. And the thing that surprised me was the profit margin that a grocery store experiences is incredibly minimal. I honestly was surprised that they could even stay open, but they do such a volume because of the need. But the total profit, if you break it down by portions of sales, came from what you bought in the checkout line. That last magazine, that extra candy bar, that pack of gum. That was where they made their profit. Nothing else in the store. So that's
traveled the world. I've traveled the world and been in Walmarts all over the country and the world. And no two are laid out the same, because if you bumble around long enough looking for the thing, you know where it is in your town's Walmart. But you go in another Walmart, it's not laid out the same, because they want you to bumble around and impulse buy. They literally hang those things, not just at the checkout, but they hang those things. They don't even have their own place on the shelf. They're just hanging there, and you can just pull them and you go, I didn't even know I needed a egg yolk divider or whatever. I just made that up.
Right.
And you go, I didn't even know they made those, but I gotta have it. And so all this impulse buy stuff, the stuff, never go shopping when you're hungry, because you'll buy too much junk, and you will buy junk. So yeah, all the candy bars and the junk and the trashy magazines are right there at the checkout. So impulse buy stuff. So it's amazing you say that, because Circuit City went broke trying to make a profit on their primary product. Best Buy sells their stuff about at cost. You know how they make their money? 1-800-GEEK Squad. The continuity, the upsells. They get you in the store, and that's all break even. Maybe at a little bit of a loss, like I was talking about. So that's the scary part for listeners. I'm trying to not scare anybody off to want to do business, but you need to go into it. Yeah, and again, you don't want to find out your dentist just decided last night they want to be a dentist and didn't go to dentistry school. Right. Or brain surgeon or heart surgeon. So you want to get your education at this and get somebody that can help you. And so I've invested in mentors from the get-go, and some were better than others, because some are just professional mentors and don't do it. And some, blood, sweat, and tears have done it and can show you the scars. Like, hey, do you remember, this is when I ran my first Facebook ad. I'm like, yeah, I remember that. So more of a psychological scar than a physical scar.
But that's been the point of this whole challenge, is to not shy away from the reality of success. Because the thing is, you can do none of what I've taught this week and make money, but it's not sustainable.
Right.
You don't know what to do with it, or how to handle it, or how to grow, or anything.
Right.
And so as fast as you will make it, you will lose it.
Right.
I mean, it's almost inevitable.
I liken it to selling blood. You make a little money doing that, but you only have so much, right? You got to keep some of it, and you make it back over time. So the only way you get anywhere in life is to have some economy of scale, to be able to scale. And I used to, because I grew up with just a poor dad and a poverty mindset, I used to think about people like Bill Gates or Warren Buffett. When's enough? Why don't they stop? They got enough. And then you realize that they have an obligation to create opportunities for other people, create jobs, to create wealth, to make other people wealthy. You don't just say, all right, you're not wired a certain way to be that successful and go, okay, I'm good. I'm going to sit back and relax. You'll notice that guys that are wired, like Warren Buffett's almost 90. If he's not 90 already, he reads like 8 hours a day. Can you imagine how smart he is? He's literally read that much every day for like 70 years. He's got to be one of the smartest human beings on earth. No wonder he's got so much money. He ought to be able to just smell a stock and know whether, I mean, he's got, at this point, he's got to have tremendous intuition around just things. And that's why it costs like several $1 million to go to lunch with him, right? Once a year, he sells lunch to go with him because he can, and he makes an extra few $1 million going to lunch with some guy who that's got to be a great lunch, right? But you see, I hate to say it takes money to make money, because there's more people on the billionaires list that are self-made than inherited it. And I got news for you. If they inherited it, their daddy probably was self-made, right? Because if you look back, the first billionaire was, I think, Rockefeller, and that was back in the early 1900s. So before that, the first billionaire was self-made because there wasn't one, there was nobody to inherit it from, right? Then nobody had $1 billion. So there's more people that are self-made. So obviously it doesn't take money to make money because they didn't have any, but it does take capital, and that can be your own time and intelligence. And eventually you can work your way in inner circles, or you can pay your way in. But once you've worked your way in when you don't have any money, then once you've got money, you realize the most valuable thing you have is time. So a lot of times people start out trading time for money, and that's why they stay broke. And eventually, once you get money, you learn to exchange that back to get your time back. And what's interesting is I've reached out to people who have JRBs. That's not that there's anything wrong with having a job and not being an entrepreneur like me, but I reach out to people because I know they have a superpower that they don't know they have. And I say, hey, you know how to do something that I don't know how to do, because I'm the one called you and asked you when I wanted to take up a certain hobby or a certain thing. And they said, well, I don't think we can sell that product because people could just go learn on YouTube like I did. But you'll understand, they didn't value their time. They were willing to watch all the garbage and go through the trial and error. You know what? My time's valuable. I'm willing to pay them to make a program and boil it down to its essence. And ultimately, that's what we're talking about. When we're talking about making money online, you're trying to condense some nonsense and make sense out of it to somebody so they don't have to wander around through the oceans of YouTube and learn all the ways. I mean, I don't play golf anymore, but I'd have been better off not learning from my buddies who didn't know how to play. Because once you learn all the bad habits, somebody's got to unlearn you all of that garbage before a pro could, it'd have been better if I'd have just started with a pro than start with some morons that played baseball with me. I think you grab it like a baseball bat. Now, only if you're just going to like whack somebody in the head with it, but not if you're going to be good at playing golf.
So with all that, it could be very scary, especially starting out, because the reality is follow-up is work. It's not just laid out for you. Now, there are things like you and I are part of.
Right. So it's work. Either you do it manually or it's work to set it up automatically, but it don't set itself up. So automation takes work, and lack of automation takes work. Right.
And in time, whether that's, your personal time or the money that you spend because you have the, ability to do that, you can start to set up or have other people do things for you. But the reality is at the beginning, you're going to put it in yourself. You're going to go through the blood, sweat, and tears and time and money and all that stuff. But that's where, going back to Monday with our mindset, what's your why? Yeah. Why are you doing this? Are you doing this because you're trying to make a real big, quick cash grab, and then you're going to be back broke and, trying to do it again in 6 months? Or are you trying to build a sustainable business where you provide value that people are coming to you saying, I see what you're doing and I want what you have, and that's, and that, yes, there is a learning curve and there's work and so on, but you can shortcut that by putting in the time with the right people, with the right mentor and things like that, and not just spinning your, that's why, understanding, and I want to reemphasize this just because, like, people think about follow-up and they think, well, I don't know what to do. Okay. I'm going to get into that later because I'm not going to keep you all day, but really the follow-up doesn't have to be difficult, because you just need to continue to show someone that what they think you're about and the reason they want to be in front of you is the reason. You just keep giving them more evidence of it. Right. That's what, in essence, that's what the follow-up is.
You're suspending their multiple disbeliefs. And the three big beliefs is, do they believe in you? Do they think you're just a scam? Do they believe in what you have? And ultimately, the biggest disbelief is in themselves.
Right.
If you can run all the testimonials in the world by them, like, yeah, but that worked for all of them because I'm not tall enough, I'm not short enough, I'm too young, I'm too old. There's always something, there's the self-doubt. So you have to deal with those three things in your follow-up. I'm legit, and you can continue to reveal that to them over time. This is legit and run testimonials. And if it would work for X and Y and Z, it will work for you. I promise you. And so the thing you want to understand is I'm getting ready to run a challenge with a very special gentleman who was elite in the U.S. Army, flew Black Hawk helicopters, which he's officially the only guy I've ever met out of all the military dudes I know flew Black Hawks. Well, anyway, I would have you consider that some men join the military, and women too, but people join the military at as young as 17 years old. They're still seniors in high school when they join the military. And they turn them into, from 17 to 18-year-old teenagers into soldiers in a very little bit of time, over the period of a boot camp and then some special training, right? How do they do that? People that went before them that learned the same thing, mentors and accountability, because you get put in a group that will not accept you dragging the group down. Because look, if you and I in business together and I let you down, maybe we lose some money, but we don't die. So in this case, you know, if somebody lets the group down, people die, the mission dies. And so it's so refreshing to have him out of the military and business, and we're doing leadership and business coaching, because that perspective, because I wasn't in the military, and it's like, holy cow, that's like another level of mentorship and accountability to take 17 and 18-year-olds and turn them into, I would have you consider the expense. What did taxpayers pay to get a Black Hawk helicopter and have a 20-some-year-old operating that thing? The expense and what it'll do and the danger. Think about that. Where else do you do that? Well, we could do something very similar here. We could take somebody that doesn't have the background at whatever we're talking about and possibly very quickly get them the mentorship and the accountability. The community is the key, is what we can teach, and then individuals help each other work it out. So there is strength in numbers.
Right. Okay, quickly, if you have any questions for Stephen, put them in the chat real quick before I'm going to let him go. You're on your anniversary weekend, right, Stephen?
Yeah, that's
Congratulations.
Right. Thank you.
I don't know if we talked about this or not. I'm doing a bonus day tomorrow. Are you around tomorrow afternoon, and am I interfering to ask you to pop in?
I will, just for you, but only for you.
Okay.
I can make myself available. We got plans tomorrow, but if it's going to be the same bat time and same bat channel, we can make this work.
I don't want to be in trouble, and I don't want you to be in trouble with your wife. So,
dude, I don't know where you live, but I think we can find out.
Okay. Let me really check the chat.
Yeah, I'm not looking at, normally at home in the bat cave. I've got multiple screens, so I'd be looking at Facebook and comments and all. I'm lucky to have the laptop, and I don't have my cool green screen, as you heard us talking about at the beginning of the live.
Jason is wondering, were you at the Ryan Dice Summit in 2018?
I've been every year, but last year, so I guess.
Okay, he just wondered if you'd ever crossed paths. Maybe,
but it's like, if we're talking about Trafficking Conversion Summit, then you're talking thousands of people. So yeah, maybe.
Right.
I went for years.
Okay. Stephen, thank you for joining us today. We will see you tomorrow, same time, 3:00. If you're, you want me to send a gift basket to your wife or something, let me know.
It's got to be a nice one. It's going to have to be a nice one, but hey, she's worth it. So, all right. I've enjoyed it. Thanks for having me.
For sure. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks. And we'll talk to you later, Stephen.
Yeah. Take care. Talk to y'all
soon.
Right.
The rest of you don't disappear yet.
No, y'all stay around. I got to go. Bye though.
All right. Well, I hope you guys got a little bit of understanding of the why behind follow-up. It is work, and you don't have a big system of assets set up in place when you're first starting out, but that's okay, because your follow-up can be you. can be your interaction with them. You don't have to have a bunch of other things to sell them. You don't have to have a bunch of content. You can just continue to share stories and help and things that are going on either in your, in your business itself, in your niche, things that they would find of value. And that's what I want to talk about. We're going to talk about two specific things when it comes to follow up. That are, one's technical, but why companies do this. Okay. So we're going to talk about the concept, okay, of like branding. I mean, we get what branding is. It's that it is the portrayal of what the entity wants you to show that. So whether that is a huge company like Coca-Cola or the brand is yourself. That's why it's important to understand who you are, what you offer, and who your who is, because you want to portray that brand to your people. And you do this through many touches, okay? Yes, you can make sales to somebody who's just seen you for the first time, doesn't know your message, doesn't know what you stand for, because you hit so directly on their pain point that they're willing to take what they consider a risk. And generally they'll do that if maybe, let's say there's a money back guarantee. But the more touches you get with someone, it's called the mirror effect. And this is scientifically proven that just by nature, the more we see someone, the more we trust them. That's why that, if you've ever heard that adage that no publicity is bad publicity, that's because I'm going to give you a very specific example. The company Johnson & Johnson had a marketing catastrophe when something, I don't even remember specifically what it was, but something very bad happened with one of their products and it became national news. Now, it could have sunk their company if they gave up. But what they did is they took all that recognition that they got and turned it around into what are we going to do about it? And now Johnson & Johnson is one of the biggest companies in America. I mean, they own so many things that you don't even realize Johnson & Johnson owns because they established themselves through all of those touches, even what seemed like it was a bad scenario, and became a household name. There's another concept called top of mind awareness. So if I ask you in your town, what's the name of a real estate agent you know? Probably somebody immediately comes to mind because you've run across them before, you've dealt with them before, or you've seen their advertising before. Or I ask you, who's the most famous person in this niche? And someone would come to mind. That's because they're at the top of your mind awareness. And you gain that by constantly being in front of the people that you want. And that's why follow-up is so important. Okay, so our two subjects, email marketing and Facebook pixels. Now, if you don't understand what that second one is, that's okay. We'll go over it. And it might not even be applicable to you yet, but I want you to understand what it is, because as soon as you can set it up, it's better to start collecting information now than waiting and forgetting about it down the future. Okay, so the reality is email is not as effective as it used to be, but nothing is. It is still the most effective way for an online marketer to interact because there's more trust in email marketing than anything else. There's still good open rates. People are still more likely to read it. And you know that you can get it in front of someone, as opposed to even a post on Facebook isn't necessarily going to get seen by people, and so that's the issue with that. Any type of post on social media, you can't guarantee who sees it. You can't guarantee they're going to open an email, but you can guarantee that it ends up in their inbox. And so that's the best way to continue to market. Okay, so now let's talk about a couple of the things that you technically have to email market. What's the best option for you if you have funds versus if you don't? And then the subject that everybody wants to understand is, what do I talk about? Because that's why a lot of people don't do any type of follow-up, because they go, I don't know what to talk about. Okay. So one thing first is what we consider the must-haves. If you are going to market through email, and I'm not talking about, if you're in a network marketing company, sending a email to a friend through your personal email. I'm talking about an email service that emails a group of people that have signed up to a list. Okay. So first of all, you have to have a way to capture the lead. Okay. You have to have something that they're willing to put their email in for. And we talked about that on Wednesday with our offer, the lead magnet. Whatever you decide is right for you, is right for your business, is right for your who, your lead magnet will get you that email address. Okay. That has to go into, that email capture has to be hosted somewhere. Okay. Which means you can't put an email capture posted on Facebook. It's not allowed. You can do it in a Facebook ad. You can collect leads that way, but then you're paying for an ad. So you have to have somewhere to host it, which is generally your own website. Okay. Your website. So you have to have a website. You have to have a domain name or your URL you have to buy. Okay. And then you have to host your website, because you don't just get to put up a website on the internet without somebody hosting it. And then you also have to have an email service provider that collects that lead, and then you send your emails out to the group through them. Okay. So those are just the things you must have. Let's talk a little bit about a done for you type of solution for those of you that are ready for it, and then a way to get it cheaper if you aren't ready for that, because we're not all in the same spot, right? Okay. So my favorite for the person that's ready for it is called Kartra. Okay. Kartra. And in the units section, I will put a link. If you want to check Kartra out, I think you can get a $1 trial of it. But then there is a monthly fee. But you got to keep in mind, Kartra allows you to load in pre-built funnels, sales pages, templates, email captures, lead magnets. All these things are already pre-built in there if you don't know what you're doing. And all you have to do is point and click to, change your name, change your product title, change the wording. All those things are already in there. And they have an entire library of videos that show you how to do each thing. They call it the Kartraverse, and it teaches you, in general, the best way to, market through all of that training. And then when you first sign up for them, they give you like a 30 days of emails where they talk about one specific thing in Kartra each day that you can do to improve your follow-up. Okay. You can have other people import their funnels into it. You can share affiliate links. There's so much you can do with it. You can follow up with an email autoresponder that Kartra is inside of it. That's how I communicate with all of you, besides obviously through Messenger, but I communicate through that. You can, as Stephen was talking about, you can segment, your people. So you can get them onto a list, but then you'll know, who bought and where they came from and what links are working and what advertising is working. You can do all of that inside of Kartra. Now there is a monthly expense to that, but it does everything. Okay. If you can't afford to put together that, it depends on your level, but it can be anywhere between $39 to $99 to $199. But I don't even use the $199 one because I don't need that much, for my business. So you'd most likely be at the least expensive level, which is awesome. If you don't have that type of money, okay, then the first thing that you should do is you buy a domain name, okay? You can just search either for GoDaddy or Namecheap. Just search for a coupon. Most of them, if you've never bought a website through them, you can get your first domain name usually for $1 for the first year. And then it's only like $15 to renew it every year. And that's nothing. I mean, $15 a year. I'm hoping that you can afford that in time once a year's been up and you've spent your dollar to land on that. You can create a free website through WordPress. It's kind of a point and click builder. You won't have nearly the options that you do in Kartra, but they have some nice looking themes. You can build it. You can put a lead magnet on it. Okay. You can put an autoresponder lead magnet form on it. And you don't have to pay for WordPress. WordPress is a free platform. And then if you really only have that one site, you can get hosting from a company like HostGator for like $1 a month for their just, mini package, which allows you to host that one site. And it doesn't cover all the bells and whistles that you don't need anyway. If that's the real cheap, route you need to go, then that's fine too. I will put all of this in the units section, links to what these are and what you should do with them depending on where you're at financially. I really hope that I didn't just freeze. My face is frozen on camera, but it looks like everything else is still working. So, okay, we're back. Cool. The only thing that you will have to pay for monthly is, as Steven said, a web or an email autoresponder service. Okay. Something like Aweber. I personally started with what's called Active Campaign. And basically, when somebody goes through your lead magnet, it puts them into your list that you created in your email autoresponder. And then every time you write up an email, you can either set it up to go automatically to your the people that have gone through the lead magnet. You can send them out when you want them to, based on scheduling, or you can just decide, hey, I have this thing I want to talk about it, write it out and send it out immediately. There's a lot of options that you can do. I think Active Campaign's only like $19 a month, so it's not a big expense. All of this stuff can be written off, on your taxes and whatever. If you can't afford any of that, if you literally have zero budget, like you can't afford a domain, you can't afford $1 a month hosting, nothing, you're going to have to do follow-ups with people manually. And that either means you're having conversations with people through social media and getting them to give you their email address so you can send them something, and then you're going to have to do that through your personal email address. Or even easier, you need to connect with them on Messenger so that you can keep your conversations in there. You can still send files and stuff like that, links through Messenger so they could download things or look at your website or whatever. Like, especially like if you're in a network marketing company, you probably have a website that sells your products that you don't have to actually pay for because you just have access to it. But you can do that. Now, the thing that you need to keep in mind is you can't just keep trying to sell somebody through Messenger because that communication is different and they'll end up blocking you. So don't do that. But you can have conversations with them. You can provide value for them. You just need to make sure that you're communicating with them in a way that they want to be communicated with. Okay. So depending on where you're at, that's a decision for you. Okay. But the big hang up is always, what do I send them? What content? How do I create new content every day, or, whatever? It's not as hard as you think. Okay. Because why they got on your list in the first place. If they went through a lead magnet, they were interested in what that lead magnet is. So the best thing to follow up with them with is more about that thing. I do not mean selling them or trying to put the checkout page in front of their face every day. That's not what I mean. If you're writing anything down or you want to, lock this in your memory, what you always want to remember is RVL. It stands for results, value, and lifestyle. Okay? If you're marketing organically through Facebook, these are the same types of posts that you would make. It's the same type of stuff that you'll put in your emails or in your messages. Okay? Results are what your product is accomplishing for yourself or for others. So let's say you don't have any results for yourself yet because you're just getting started. Then what type of results are other people inside, like your network marketing company or affiliate marketing, what are they accomplishing with it? Because that's testimonial towards the results that your product can get them. Remember, Steven said one of the things that they have to trust is the offer. So you need to show them results. Okay. And when you start getting your own, no matter how small they are, celebrate those and also share those because they want to see that you as a real person are getting results too. Second, V is for value. Okay. So you want to share things with them that are not about you trying to sell them your product. You want to share things that will improve their lives. Sometimes that's education. Sometimes that's, in the form of a video. If you're a fitness instructor, you don't want to always just pitch them the results of people that are following you. You want to show them, you want to provide them value. Free training session. Show them the proper form to do an exercise. If you're an affiliate marketer, help them understand something that they might not understand yet. Explain to them the importance of a follow-up or your mindset or all the things you've learned this week about yourself and about others that would help them on their journey. And then L is lifestyle, what it's allowing you to do, what it's allowing others to do. If you're into affiliate marketing for, working online, you want to show the results of other people getting to live the life that they want, or yourself, if you're there yet. Okay. And you don't have to be afraid to show people your, real lifestyle. Like, look around me. I'm not sitting on a beach in Costa Rica right now. I'm in, one of the bedrooms of my condo with, bookshelves and my desk and, stuff around me, and my cat's probably playing somewhere behind the door. And, I'm not wearing some fancy suit. My Lamborghini's not parked out in the car, but the reality is I've got what I need. My life is comfortable. I realized today, I went and I put gas in my car, and because I track, my budget, I have not put gas in my car since May 27th. That's a month and a half because I haven't gone anywhere. Because one, we're on lockdown. Okay. So there's nowhere to go, but I work from home, so I don't have to drive back and forth from a job every day. Now that might sound awful to you, but I like home. I'm happy here. I'm comfortable here. I still go for a lot of walks and stuff. All right, broadcast paused. Hold on a sec. Let's see if we're back. Anybody around? Let me see. Are we frozen? All right. I think we're back. Okay. You know, see my concerned face. All right. Yeah, maybe. Yep. Okay, cool. So that's the realities. Those same things you need to be sending in your follow-ups. So, a couple times a week, you're talking about results. A couple times a week, you're sharing value. A couple times a week, you're talking about lifestyle and what they want. And if you're not selling like a how to make money, the reality is, like, let's say you are in like the health and wellness industry, all of those things still apply. Results are, the health benefits that others are getting. The value is other things about, your product, or maybe not even your product, but the benefits of a healthy lifestyle. This doesn't even have to be content you can create. You can go find an article that's relative or relevant to your niche and say, hey, I just checked out this article. Here's a link to it. Here are some highlights. And you're providing them value because that's information they didn't have before. And then lifestyle, about what would life be like for you if you got into better shape, if you were healthy, or if you're able to do the things you want that you're not able to right now. So every business can offer that. Okay. One person in here provides results for real estate agents. Well, most real estate agents have to be on call all the time, and they have to have a lead system, and they have to have a follow-up system, and they have to, market and advertise, and then, meet for houses. They have all these things to do. Well, you can provide them, the results and the value and the lifestyle of being able to solve one entire piece of that by doing the marketing for them, and show them the lifestyle that they could achieve by being able to take one entire section of their life that they have to plug time and money into and let you take care of it. So all businesses can offer this in some way or another. Even a physical product business solves a problem. People buy things that solve problems. We buy food because it solves our hunger problems. We buy, laundry detergent because it solves our dirty clothes problem. So whatever it is that you're selling, show the results and the value and the lifestyle and the benefits that come from whatever your product is. Thank you, everybody, for letting me know that we're back in. Okay. So that's the way it is. It doesn't have to be any harder than that with email marketing. Don't forget, though, that you still want to put your product in front of them. You still want to put your offer in front of them, because the reality is once you've got those touches, that automatic trust that started to be built up, they might be ready to join in whatever your offer is at that point. Maybe something's changed for them. Maybe it's just the more trust you've built up. And the thing is, this is why we play a long game. I have built a list that started back in 2017. There are people in this group that have been following me since that long, because I give them value. They see, a reason to open my emails. They see a reason to buy products that I recommend, because they know I don't just sling them a bunch of garbage unless I have seen it and vetted it and, know the results of a product and can help them along the way with it. I'm not going to sell it to them because that's not me. So I've gained that trust from them. That's what your follow-up can do. Okay. So don't miss that piece of the puzzle. Now, on a very quick note, what is a Facebook pixel? Okay. Very simply, all it is a piece of code that you put on your website, that when somebody lands on your website, it tells Facebook who that person was. Okay. Now, this is only applicable if you're going to be running Facebook ads. So you might not be ready for it, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't set one up if you have a website and put it on there. Okay. this is the reason. You can run an ad specifically to people that have already landed on your website and seen what you have offered. And the reality is, if they've seen you on one market, like let's say they met you through LinkedIn, but then they saw you in their email, but then they saw you on Facebook, the more they see you, the more of an authority you become. Now, most of us probably are really starting to recognize this. It's called retargeting. And, we wonder why we, search something, or we, even scarily say something out loud and wonder why 5 seconds later we're getting an ad on Facebook for that exact site. Well, it's probably because they have a Facebook pixel and they're retargeting you. And even if you're not ready to run ads, you set up a business manager on Facebook, you get your pixel, it's free, you install it on your website, and Facebook will start collecting that information no matter how long before you start running ads. And then you can go back to those people. So let's say you put on a Facebook pixel on your website, but you're not ready to run paid ads for 6 months from now. Well, you can run a retargeting ad to every person that's landed on your website for the last 6 months with a really inexpensive, for a couple of cents, a video that says, hey, I know it's been a while since we've connected, but I'd like to reintroduce you to such and such, whatever your product is. And even if 6 months have gone by, if they're still interested, maybe all they needed was a reminder, and you got to put yourself in front of them without having to look for a new customer. You've already somehow started to establish a relationship with them. I'm just catching up on the comments. Yes, exactly, Bear. Not a pitch fest, but good, valuable content. Yeah, and then thank you, Jason, for that. Yeah, WordPress plugin. I don't use WordPress anymore, but again, if you just search a lot of things, there are plugins for almost anything out there, which is really awesome about the state of the internet now. So much more can be done. And so that actually makes, it might seem like things like online marketing are crowded, but it's actually getting easier because you have so many tools that can come into use, and so many of them honestly are free. That, like that tracking code manager, I don't know if that one's particularly free, but it is available. So that's pretty much what a Facebook pixel is in a nutshell. You can start running Facebook ads for as little as $1 a day. Start to build, some, testing with that. See how people are reacting. One of the best things right now, and I don't know how long this will last, are video ads. Okay. You can get video ads for as little as, 2 to 5 cents per view. And that can be, you on video. It can be a video you created. And so even if somebody doesn't buy, you've now got one of those touches. So if you can get video views for 5 cents a piece, you could literally get 10 touches with the same person for 50 cents. That is that mirror effect, that top of mind, that they will build trust in you for something as simple as that. So maybe consider that if you're ready to start Facebook ads. If you are at that point already, you should join me tomorrow on Saturday, because I will dive into that more deeply for you. It's way too heavy for today of that specific method. But is this all making sense? Follow up will exponentially grow your business. Don't rely on that first type of traffic. Reach back out to people. If you're doing Facebook organic marketing, which I think most of you should be doing, because one, it's free. It gets you in front of the right people. It allows you to test like crazy without losing money. then you're already going to be connecting with people in Messenger, and you can follow up that way. And then when you're ready, get them, on a lead capture page through your lead magnet and start marketing to them through email list. I mean, $20 a month for a system to do that is probably the best $20 you'll spend. So what next? We have gone through 5 days now of just setting principles out that honestly any business should follow. Why they're doing it, who they're doing it for, what they're offering, how to get people in front of it, and what to do with them afterwards. That is essential to the success of any business. It is even more so now online, because there are a lot of people marketing online. There are a lot of people working online, and you need to know why you're doing it, how you're going to do it, and how you're going to differentiate yourself from someone else. There are programs out there right now that are teaching a very cookie cutter method of just copy our system and post it, and you're going to have success. The reality is there might be some that do. Okay. But the majority won't, because they aren't differentiating themselves. They aren't making a name for themselves. They're just getting caught up in just another face that does that same program. So even if you are in one of those programs and you're promoting one of those programs, that's fine, but you need to learn how to differentiate. So where do we go next? Okay. A couple of things. I am going to run this challenge, but slightly different next week. Okay. We will cover a lot of things, which repetition gets it inside us. It will help you see after. So you've already gone through this once. Going through it again next week and re-listening now with the mindset that you have will get it even deeper ingrained into you. And we'll also cover some topics that I realize now from your surveys, from conversations I've had, that we haven't been able to get to, that we could get to in a better way. So if you want to be a part of that challenge, again, it's free. It is the last, I realize next week is the last time I will ever do this challenge specifically for free. Steven encouraged me not to do this challenge for free, but I wanted to because I knew the people that responded first were because they wanted to get going. A lot of people started asking right in the middle of it, can I come in? And I said, no, you can't, because it's not fair to everybody that got in and trying to get everybody to catch up. So I'm going to run it one more time next week for free. If you want to be a part of it, on this video, comment I'm in, either right now or on the replay, or DM me or something. Let me know that you want in, and I will get you an invitation to that. All right. Second, I am running a 1-day bonus Saturday tomorrow to specifically get into, in a group setting, your survey answers of what to do next, your specific problems. Okay. It costs a whopping $9.95, not $995, $9.95. And that's not just to buy in. That is to buy you the Double Your Productivity book, which is literally written by the master of productivity, my mentor, Jason Fladlien. Okay. I put the link in this video at the top of the description. I've posted about it in the group. Okay. That book is for every one of you, because it will help you to be more efficient and work faster. And the more, the faster you work and more efficient you work, the more you get done, the more money you'll make, the more time you'll free up, because that's what it really should be about, is your time freedom. Okay. And you're getting the reality is I'm selling that book for $9.95 because Jason told me you cannot sell this for less. It's in my contract with him to not sell it for less than $9.95. He sells it for $50 on his own website, and people buy it every day. So you're getting 80% off of it. Plus you're getting a, group session coaching with me to cover your specific, next steps. If you do not see $10 worth of value in that, then we don't resonate, and that's okay. If after 5 days of teaching you for free, I'm not worth $10 and an amazing book, that's okay. But that probably means that we won't ever resonate. And that's okay too, because I'm not going to resonate with everybody. I shouldn't try to, and neither should you. You should only work with who you want to work with. Okay. I had somebody offer me a very, very interesting coaching program a while back to take me to even my next level. And I realized that it wasn't so much the program, it was the person. I actually like the program, but I didn't connect with the person. And so I turned it down because even though their program was great, I didn't connect with the person well. And so if you don't connect with me, that's fine, but go find who you do connect with and get some help. And a lot of help you can get for free. I mean, I taught this whole thing for free for 5 days. Whether you do anything with me after this or not, that's up to you. And there's a lot of people willing to do that without any sort of reciprocation needed. I mean, that's like Steven said today with Bill Gates. He keeps doing things because he has an obligation to help others now. He can't just pull back, whether no matter how you feel about him on a personal level. Okay. Andrew, tomorrow, we're going to do our normal 3 to 4. I'm probably going to actually jump on early at like 2:30, maybe even 2:00. And I'm just going to hang out. I'm going to do it in a live Zoom where we're going to actually be in a Zoom meeting that has a chat of its own. It's not going to be on Facebook. Those of you that sign up, I will send you a link through either your email or your messenger. I will post something in this group for you to message me something so that you have the specific Zoom link and password and so on, because that's easier than me creating a whole new group in Facebook with you guys in it. That's how we're going to do it. Again, at least from 3 to 4, probably more like 2 to 4, because I want to make sure the value that you all get is there, and I do as best as I can for you. And the reason, okay, you want to know why tomorrow's not free is because we all have to make commitments as we go along. And that's the reason this challenge won't be free in the future. It will be this next one because I had a lot of people that really want to come in late. And now I'm posting and letting people know it's only going to be free one more time. But somebody that's willing to even spend $10 shows that they're ready to do something with their business, even if it's just getting one solution that helps them move on to their next step so they don't have to keep twiddling their thumbs and wondering, what should I be doing? Okay. Lastly, what next for you? Okay. If you've filled out your survey, then I've got your answers. You already, for the most part, everyone that I've got, everybody has said they know what their next step is. They know what's holding them back. And that was the point. That was the point of all your homework, is for you to understand that you know what you need to do. You know what's holding you back, and you just need to go out and do it. Okay. Now, maybe there's an underlying fear, and that's why we talked about mindset. That's why I shared the book, The Big Leap, because that will help you understand that some of that stuff going on inside your head that's holding you back is garbage, and you shouldn't listen to it anymore. You should give it a proverbial middle finger and tell it to move on. Okay. Because it's not serving you. It's not giving you, what you want because you're listening to it instead of what you should be listening to. So what's your next step? If you haven't filled out your survey, fill it out. Get it to me in either Messenger or through the email that's attached to the survey. I will respond to every one of you. If you're ready to move forward, get into the bonus day tomorrow. And don't wait till the last second. Get it done today. Let me know you want in today. You know, if you have to tomorrow morning, that's fine, but like, don't wait. Just get it done. And we'll see you all tomorrow. I'm going to leave this Facebook group open because if you guys want to interact, you want to send friend requests, you know, if you think you can help each other, do that. A group of people that can help each other is why this challenge worked, and I want it to work for all of you. I have started a new Facebook group for the challenge next week because I don't want to try and bring everybody in and delete all the videos. And I know some of you had some serious life things that came up that, you know, you weren't able to view everything in here. And I could be callous and say, well, you know what, that's life, and delete everything or remove the group, but I'm not going to do that. I may in time close the group. I don't have any plans for that yet, and I will definitely let you know ahead of time. Anyways, I want to say thank you, and that I am grateful for every one of you because you, one, showed just enough trust and faith in me that I was going to provide you value this week. And I hope you have found that. I'm even more grateful for that you are trying to put yourself out there and create the life that you wanted, that you still want, and that you're going to help other people along the way doing so. You're going to provide value. All of this is me signing off at the end of our 5 days to 5K challenge. I love you all. Peace out.